happening. What the goal here is not to shame and cast out dispersions on Christians and have them stay home and vote.
네, 안녕하세요. 매일매일 운동하기를 실천하고 있는 동탄 왕코입니다. 여러분, 제가 드디어 70kg를 찍었습니다. 드디어 70kg가 됐어요. 와, 살 진짜 많이 쪘습니다, 여러분. 뱃살이 장난이 아닙니다. 몸무게 70이 의미하는 게 뭐냐면 어마어마하죠. 원래는 60에서 63을 유지를 계속 했었습니다. 20대에. 솔직히 63도 잘 안 갔어요. 60 아니면 61, 많이 가 62. 20대를 그렇게 유지를 하고 30대 초반에서부터 한 63 찍다가 어느 순간부터 35살부터 아마 살이 급격하게 찌기 시작합니다. 저 아시죠? 수영 매일 하고요. 뭐 야간 근무는 못하지만 수영 매일 하고 팔굽혀펴기를 하루에 30분씩이라도 꾸준히 하고, 심지어 근무 환경이 제가 서 있고 많이 돌아다니고 그런 활동적인 업무 환경입니다. 그럼에도 불구하고 살이 찌고 있어요. 저처럼 매일 수영을 하지도 않고 운동도 안 하고 활동적인 사람이 아니고 책상에 앉아서 주로 일을 하시는 30대들 살이 엄청 많이 찌죠. 특히 배가 많이 나오죠. 팔다리가 얇아지고 배만 나오는 그런 체형으로 가는 거를 많이 보셨을 겁니다. 진짜 따로 일부러 운동을 하고 신경을 안 쓰는 한 그렇게 될 수밖에 없어요. 저 역시도 살이 계속 찌고 있습니다. 저는 식단 조절을 전혀 안 합니다. 술 마실 거 마시고 먹을 거 제가 마음껏 먹고 합니다. 그래서 아마 살이 이렇게 찌는 것 같아요. 그래서 오늘은 운동 안 하고 영상 안 키려고 했는데 야간 끝나고 첫날이었죠. 어저께 밤에 한 4일 쉬고, 자 오늘도 출근하고 앞으로 3일 연휴가 있지만 저는 계속 출근을 해야 됩니다. 그래서 일단 운동하겠습니다. 스트레칭이랑 팔굽혀펴기 조금이라도 하도록 할게요. 다시 70을 찍었던 거를 빨리 67 이하로 내리도록 하겠습니다. 운동할 때 CNN이죠.
London and New York, CNN covering the world's business.
Afghan women are afraid that this is the beginning of your efforts to erase them from the workspace.
It's not clear. Even if we appear with the burqa, maybe they will say that women's voices are forbidden.
Do you ever imagine that you would be prevented from going to school?
Girls' education is fundamental to the dignity of Afghan life.
Do you believe that young girls will be allowed to go to school here in Afghanistan?
I'm CNN meteorologist Jennifer Gray with your forecast across Asia, and we do have a front that's draped across Japan, South Korea, into China. That's going to cause a lot of cloud cover as well as some rainfall over the next couple of days. We'll see more lingering showers across China, but heavier downpours will be associated especially with central Japan, and that's where we'll see the highest rainfall totals. And then it's going to push out by the time we get into the middle part of the weekend. More rain pushing into South Korea by the time we get into Saturday and Sunday. So the rainfall totals anywhere from say 25 to 45 millimeters of rain across China as well as South Korea. Looking at a little bit more in Japan, Tokyo could see anywhere from say 45 to 60 millimeters of rain, and then also seeing some snow on the map now with temperatures much cooler across the north. So 16 degrees in Tokyo, showers in the forecast, 18 in Seoul, mostly sunny skies, Beijing at 20 with lots of sunshine, Shanghai dreary and temperatures around 21 degrees. So Manila at 33, we're going to see some showers and storms across the Philippines. We'll see some storms in Ho Chi Minh with temperatures around 32, Bangkok at 31, Kuala Lumpur at 29. In India, we're looking at still some showers and storms, especially across northern and central sections. Temperatures in New Delhi at 26. Have a good day.
So
So there are new developments tonight in the Oath Keepers trial. Members facing charges including seditious conspiracy. One former member testifying Oath Keepers leader Stuart Rhodes was in touch with a Secret Service agent in the lead up to the 2020 presidential election. I want to bring in now CNN's senior national correspondent, Sarah Seiden, who is covering the trial, and Daryl Johnson, a former senior domestic terrorism analyst at the Department of Homeland Security. Good evening to both of you. Ms. Seiden, I want to start with you because this former Oath Keeper testifying, the Oath Keepers leader was in touch with the Secret Service in 2020. Tell us more about this, please.
Former Oath Keeper John Zimmerman testified that he believed Oath Keeper founder Stuart Rhodes was actually in touch with a Secret Service agent to ask about what weapons they could bring or be allowed to bring near a rally in Fayetteville, North Carolina in the lead up to the 2020 election. So we contacted the Secret Service because this was a revelation that was testified to in court, and they responded by saying that they couldn't confirm there was actual contact in that instance, but said that they often have contact with protest groups. And so that begs the question, if they had regular contact with the Oath Keepers and other extremist groups and protest groups, why didn't they look into any signs or even the warnings that groups like the Anti-Defamation League or the Southern Poverty Law Center had been putting out in the lead up to January 6th about groups, including the Oath Keepers, Don?
Daryl, what strikes you about this? Is it surprising?
Well, I've got a little bit of mixed feelings. I mean, the Oath Keepers is a far-right anti-government extremist group. That we all know. They have a sole purpose of recruiting current and former military as well as law enforcement. So on one hand, I can understand the Secret Service is just processing a normal call that comes in, trying to answer questions. But on the other hand, we need to be smarter with who we're dealing with on the phone because these extremist groups could use that contact, exploit it. This person, if they gave them information, could actually be kind of an insider threat. So we really don't know the extent of this relationship, but it does give me pause for concern.
Yeah, Sarah, the judge also ruled that the jury can't see a death list of Georgia election officials in this trial. What is this about?
There was a handwritten note that was found during the search of defendant Thomas Caldwell's home in Virginia when he was arrested in January 2021. He was one of the first associates of the Oath Keepers to be arrested. And so what you saw there is this handwritten note that was titled Death List. And it had the names of Ruby Freeman and her daughter, Wandrea Shea Moss, both of whom we saw testify in front of the January 6th committee. They are Georgia election officials who said that they had been dealing with such terrible harassment. They were afraid for themselves. And so the fallout from some of this is really, really harsh for just regular people trying to do their jobs. But they were pulled into this sort of voter fraud conspiracy theory, and they were just working as election officials. Now, the jury's not going to see this death list note because the judge ruled that it was too prejudicial and not relevant to the case.
Daryl, we're also watching what is happening with the Proud Boys. Today, Jeremy Bertino, a top lieutenant to leader Enrique Tarrio, pleaded guilty to seditious conspiracy, and he's cooperating with the Justice Department's investigation. Is this significant?
Yeah, both these cases are very significant. These are actually probably the toughest charges that have been brought to bear so far on these insurrectionists from January 6th, as well as some of the events that happened, earlier than that when we had the, upheavals and the, discord in the country back in 2020. So both of these cases are very important, and the Justice Department is, bringing these charges against them that are very serious. You can get up to 20 years in prison for sedition here in the United States.
Daryl, Sarah, thank you both. I appreciate it. A big update to the story we brought you last night about a former Texas state trooper under investigation for her role during the Uvalde massacre. She is now out of a new job. We'll explain next.
Over the years, I've asked a lot of questions to some unforgettable people. History makers, game changers, cultural cultural icons. Who's Talking is my new one-on-one interview show with some of the biggest names around that you'll see in a whole new light.
Who's Talking to Chris Wallace on CNN.
Ow.
We're focusing squarely on the US and Europe. The US is a massive market. It's 60% of the global pet market.